Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Friday, and I thought it would be fun while we've got a day off of school to do a video game review for the video game section of the YouTube channel. I recently bought Dead or Alive 6 and was deeply disappointed to find out that there was no tag battle mode on it, so I thought it would be fun for me to get my tag battle mode fixed and get a game review in, all in one fell swoop. So today, we are going to be reviewing my favorite game for the Nintendo Wii, and that, my friends, is Capcom versus Tatsunoku, or as it's accurately named, Tatsunoku versus Capcom. This features Capcom's brightest stars from the early 2000s against Japanese animation company Tatsunoku. This is very similar to Marvel vs. Capcom, except instead of Marvel, it's Tatsunoku. So you have characters like Kashurn, who are very cool. So without further ado, let's get down to playing some Tatsunoku vs. Capcom on the Nintendo Wii. This is this is the American version. So we've got an English opening that's happening right now, which is not as good as the Japanese one, but it's still pretty cool. So let's hit the lights. Whenever I hear rap music, I always want to bust out my MCP Pants lyrics. The giant drill bored straight into hell, releasing ancient demons from their sleep forever spell that they can walk upon the earth and get me situated and hawk the diet pills MCP Pants has created. Alright, anyway, I got that out of my system here. No, but seriously, this game is a very beautiful game with very cool artwork from Shinkaro, the legendary SNK artist, and this is a great game if you like cel-shaded anime graphics, and the roster of this game is also quite good. Now, for the American version of this game, they have a little bit more of a jazzy yet still Japanese style opening with English instead of Japanese lyrics, which is still quite cool. But if you look up the Japanese opening to this game, I actually prefer it. It's much more poppy. So there's Kashurn. Now Kashurn, when Toonami first came back in the United States, they played a show called Kashurn Sins, which is really an awkward anime that I watched, but I really did not like anywhere nearly as much as any version of Kashurn, particularly the early 90s OVA version, which is really, really cool. A lot of Tatsunoku's characters are very much in what we in the United States would recognize as in more of a Power Rangers style, and their shows were either in anime or live action form. So I always really enjoyed that Japanese style of superhero, where things tended to be based a little more on the collective, although Kashurn is not a collective story. Mega Man is actually based on Kashurn. Well, he's got Frender the dog, like Mega Man has Rush. Or I should say Mega Man has Rush like Frender has... like Kashurn has Frender. I'm rambling incoherently, or semi-coherently. So let's actually get down to it. Bright, beautiful colors happening right here, as they should be in a fighting game. We're going to do arcade mode, because this is my favorite way to play a fighting game. We have 8 battles here. For the purposes of this review, let's actually go into our options menu, and we'll pump down the difficulty so we can get through things a little bit quicker, just so we don't run into any roadblocks here. And as you play the game, you will get Zenny, and you can unlock things like different colors and character art for different people. So that's always fun. So we have Ken the Eagle, Ryu, Chun-Li, Morgan, Alex, Batsu from Rival Schools, which is cool, Mega Man from Mega Man Legends, Kaijin no Soki from Onimusha, Roll, who does have a remixed version of her Marvel vs. Capcom music, which is cool, Saki, Beautiful Joe, and now we're going to start going into Frank West, Zero, Random, Yatterman 2, Joe the Condor, Tekkaman Blade, Ipatsuman, Doranjo, Karasas, Yatterman 1, Polymer, Takaman, and there's Kashurn right there, using the Swan, and then there we go. Let's be, for the purposes of this review, we'll be Batsu from Rival Schools, and let's do, where's Kashurn at? Kashurn, and this game improving on Marvel vs. Capcom 2's music. Has a much more upbeat, much more brightly colored, surreal feel to it, although this game does opt for a return to the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 style jazzy opening. Now, this game plays very similar to Marvel vs. Capcom. In fact, I think it might play a little bit more like Marvel vs. Capcom than Marvel vs. Capcom 3. If your standard of Marvel vs. Capcom is the original games that were on the Sega Saturn and PlayStation and in arcades. So you got your punch buttons, your kick buttons. You do have your tag button is a little awkward. I'm playing this with a GameCube controller, and if you want to tag in your opponent, you have to hold back and hit the tag button. If you just hit the tag button, your other partner will come in for an assist move, which is all well and good, except it leaves you for a period where you cannot tag in your partner. And if you want to do your super move, you do a Hadouken motion and your punch and kick buttons at the same time. And there we see Casshern just gets the win. Yeah, that Casshern Sins anime was unnecessarily just dark and awkward. It's like the robots were dying of rust cancer, and everything looked like it was filmed with a pillow over its head. It was very depressing and awkward. Now, I understand that, you want to, for the novelty of it, take a very bright, upbeat style and kind of invert it. There was a indie fan Power Rangers movie that was done in the same style. It had like Dawson from Dawson's Creek playing Rocky and the second Red Ranger. It was very, it was okay. It was pretty cool. But that's kind of a one-shot deal. A whole TV series of that, no, not for my taste. So, the darker Casshern Sins was kind of lame. But yeah, that early 90s OVA of Casshern is fantastic. And it's cool to see Batsu in this game as well. Rival Schools is a Capcom franchise that I don't think gets enough attention. The gameplay in that game was excellent, and the idea that you had really cool over-the-top Dragon Ball style fighting mixed with J-pop and a cool story about high schools invading each other really was just fantastic. This game even features that same kind of mechanic that Rival Schools has, where you can kind of hang up in the air a little bit. So it's nice that the attention to detail of each different character is preserved here. So if I hit backwards in my two punch buttons here, it can do this cool assist move, which causes the screen to explode with beautiful massive energy. Now, I believe Ken the Eagle was known in the United States under the show called Star Blazers, which was on in the 80s here. Obviously, I always would recommend watching the Japanese versions because censorship and localization tend to really dilute the storytelling and just general aesthetic of the show. But that doesn't mean that the U.S. versions are not worth watching either. So we're going to fight Frank West in Yatterman 1. There's 8 levels in this, and your final boss is got 3 forms, and it's called Yami. And I'm not actually familiar with the Tatsunoku franchise that it's from, but it's basically a giant ball that kind of changes its forms until ultimately it turns into a giant claw. And this game does have very cool endings as well. This is one thing. I just don't understand how video game companies are releasing half-done video games nowadays and figuring they'll release the rest with content. Like the fact that there are now fighting games being released with no endings is just completely obscene. So we can see here, I've got Yatterman in the corner, and I'm really just playing Batsu like I'm playing how I play him in rival schools. Lots of forward and back, down diagonal, forward type moves, and that really will do it. Gameplay is extremely responsive, and all the high-flying, high-energy, smooth gameplay mixed with, nightclub-style music to really jive with the energy and the vibrance of the art and fighting that we come to know from Capcom fighting games from the 90s and 2000s is all really here, and it is fantastic. Ooh, Yatterman's Workshop. And we'll fight G. Lighton, who is a giant gold mech. We will review Dead or Alive 6, which I have been playing, and it is a very, 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 very beautiful game. But the lack of a tag mode really bothers me, and this is another one of these fighting games where they've separated the story and arcade mode, which I cannot stand. It's not like I can't stand it. I can stand it. It's not that bad. But, like, why? I don't understand why you can't have the straightforward style of an arcade mode with the engaging elements of a story mixed in like games had with Street Fighter Alpha 3 or Street Fighter Zero 3, depending on your preference. I just got KO'd there because I went on a little bit of a rant here. Now, the cool thing about Kashurn is he fights like a combination of a bunch of different SNK characters. He fights like, oh, how am I blanking on this guy's name? The guy from Samurai Showdown, Gelford, where he can call his dog in to do attacks. But then he also fights a bit like Rock Howard with, hang on, careful, with that kind of move right there, which is exactly like Rock Howard's Terry Bogard style punch. The bigger they are, the harder they fall before my fists. Now get out of the way already. This game has 0, which is very cool. I think this is, well, no, because I think SVC Chaos came out first, and that had 0 in it. But this 0 is cooler than the 0 that is in SVC Chaos. He just, He plays much more like you would expect Zero to play, which is understandable why Capcom would understand their own character a bit better than SNK, but still. There was a lot of fear that this game would not be released outside of Japan due to licensing issues, but there was really a lot of interest in this game, and so Capcom, I guess, was able to get their act together and get this game out, and it really is, I would argue, at least for my taste, the best reason to buy a Wii, because this is a Wii exclusive. Yeah, take a look at this level here, and the music that plays in the background is fantastic here. There we go. Fights in this game do feel like they go a bit longer than Marvel vs. Capcom, which is certainly not a bad thing. Not that, I mean, they're both equally fine. That's just an observation. This game feels like it takes a little bit longer to beat than Marvel vs. Capcom 1, but I think that may also just be the fact that I'm better at Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and I can just kind of breeze through that game more easily. But nice visual effects in the background here. Good cast of characters. Stage 6 out of 8. I believe Hinorobu Kageyama did the opening to the early 90s Casher and OVAs. And by believe, I'm like 99.9% sure he did. So if you like Hinorobu Kageyama, you got to totally check out his opening to Casher, and it's very good. We also need to do a review on this channel soon for Garo, Mark of the Wolves, and I want to do that review on the Neo Geo Mini that I have, although the Xbox 360 version of that game is also very good. It's got some very nice wallpapers of the Garo characters. And we also need to do Real Bout Dominated Mind, because that's got a boss from Clockwork Orange, which is very interesting. So, incidentally, you know, Geese Howard and Billy Kane have an awesome band called Go West. They did a song called "The King of Wishful Thinking." It's fantastic. Feel my burning vigor right here. It is really awkward how Capcom was able to get the Dragon Ball fighting style down, but Bandai Namco, who released Dragon Ball games for so long, never was really able to get that fluidity of gameplay and vibrance and music combination to really jive, to really create that experience to feel like you were doing a Dragon Ball style fight. And that's not to say that the Dragon Ball games are not good. We recently reviewed I think it was Shin Botuden 2 for the Super Nintendo, and that game's fantastic, but, you know, it took really up until Fighters, I think, and even Fighters, whose gameplay I really like, and we do need to review that game on the channel as well, does not, I don't know, I personally I like the Capcom style of gameplay the best, and Fighters plays more like a Guilty Gear game, which again is not a bad thing, but I just think everything is a bit more, flows a bit more smoothly with Capcom's Street Fighter style control scheme. So we are just about done with this game here. If we can actually beat these guys here, we will get to our final boss. So I'll try to make short work of them because we're working on 17 minutes. See if we can rough up Joe the Condor here. Oh man! Timed that a little bit off. Let's get into a nice rhythm here. It's always nice when your opponent tags in his partner, and you can do some damage to him as well at the same time. Getting a little trigger happy with that super move, as you can see. Come on. That should do it for him. Let's tag in Cashern here. Friender! Crap. Man, I should not have tagged in Cashern because our fortunes have really turned around here. Oh, maybe I changed. Spoke too soon. This should be the super combo finish right here. No, he's still kicking. No, he's not. That assist was okay, and it's also now okay to assist. Here comes the big boss man. Also known as Ray Trailer, the Guardian Angel. That's not true. That's a WCW reference. So. So yeah, this giant egg thing here is our final boss. We got to be careful of that buzzsaw hand he has, because it is pretty annoying. Darn it! Come on. Getting a little careless here. Now the positive thing to this thing being so gigantic is it can't dodge any of your attacks. So, his second form, he now has legs and kind of these energy spaghetti arms here, as you can clearly see. Nah, I bet that's going to miss. Nah, I got a little bit of damage in. Just trying to kind of find a blind spot here and spam this drop kick. And, So Batsu's in pretty bad shape here, so I'm probably going to tag in Kashurn for the final boss fight of this game here. Although I did recover a decent amount of health right there. Man, this boss form can really interrupt your super moves. Standing next to a mountain and chop it down with the edge of my hand. That's what I did right there. It should do it. And that, my friends, is the end of the game. Let's check out Kashurn's ending. At last, Kashurn returned to his own world. Here he fights with the Andro army, and it continues to rage on. Ugh, I can't keep this up much longer. I have to find a way to end this fight. That leaves me no choice. Super Destruction Beam. Kashan, Gaia! You see, he's got all the energy of his Capcom friends. Something has changed inside of me. I know I can continue this fight. There's no limit to what a person can do if they have the will. Humanity will never bow down to some merciless robots. What makes a person a human is strength of their beliefs. That is the difference between the Andro army. And I am Neo-Reuter Kashurn. Today marks the end of the Andro army and return of peace to humanity. And we get this little ending here. If we hit a button here, we get these Tatsunoku characters here. You can kind of play this jumping bicycle game here. Now, I believe if you beat this game with Roll, I think it's her. I want to say it's her flying on a broomstick or something along those lines. I'm sorry, I don't remember. It's been a little bit of a while here. But there's actually letters you can try to pick up here to kind of play the game here. And again, forgive me that I don't remember all of the mechanics of this little ending here, but it is fun. And since we're running over 20 minutes, we'll wrap this up. So yeah, there we have it, guys. That is Tatsunoku versus Capcom for the Nintendo Wii, a game I highly recommend picking up. Until next time, guys, my name is Noel. You take care, and Capcom Fighter is always a wise choice. Bye-bye.